I'm sure we're all asking ourselves this question. Is it expensive to be poor? Well, we're about to find out that it's more expensive to be poor. Let's get right into it.
Of what it might be like to be a wealthy person. We watch them on TV, we follow them on Instagram, we read their blogs and autobiographies. Unfortunately,
See, we do this a lot of the time. We'll go and look through people that have like fame, fortune, luxuries, and we'll compare ourselves to them, and it just makes us feel like shit. A lot of people do it. I even catch myself doing it sometimes. Everyone does that.
awareness of how
It's
the other half
expensive.
lives doesn't happen much in the other direction. Though many of us have probably described ourselves as broke or poor at one point or another, very few have an understanding of what real poverty feels like.
And it's not just a matter of
All right, yeah. To be fair, I have no clue what actual poverty feels like. I've just had a bunch of moments where I have like -5 to $0 in my bank account, and I'm like not able to buy anything. But I couldn't say that I've actually endured poverty. Maybe I've lived in a trailer home, but that I wasn't even really poverty, man. I had a PS4 in there. I had food. I had heating and stuff. It wasn't even poverty. I wasn't living on the streets. So I'd like
having
to see
less
where these
money.
people are going with
Once you
it.
get below a certain threshold, a whole new set of rules apply that actually make day-to-day life more expensive. If you've never struggled with real poverty, you might not be aware of the many hidden costs and financial traps that conspire to keep poor people poor.
Financial traps like fast food and video games. I'm definitely not caught up with all that. No, I end up spending most of my money on virtually useless shit. Like I go out and I get food. I spend like $20 on a meal or $30 on a meal, and I'll buy like something on a game, buy a game, and I after like a couple of days I will find myself in the negative. So let's see what this is talking about.
It's very hard to make your way through modern life without access to basic financial services like checking accounts, ATMs, and personal checks. But the less money you have, the more these things will cost you. That's because banks make their profits by accruing interest on your money. So if your account balance is too low, usually under $1,500, they won't consider you a profitable client anymore, and they'll make you pay for their basic services in the form of a monthly fee.
Yo, that's messed up. So like the average American working a 9 to 5 is probably finding themselves in this sort of area after they get done paying all their bills and utilities and everything else they gotta pay. Most Americans end up living like paycheck to paycheck, and they can barely afford to live. So banks just be charging everyone like their monthly fee too. Say, oh yeah, we're gonna tack off another $50 from you because you guys aren't profitable. Wow, scummy.
And heaven help you if you go below zero. Each overdraft incurs a charge of about $35, and many banks will deliberately reorder your transactions for the day, from biggest to smallest, to drive you into the red more quickly and rack up as many overdraft fees as possible.
If a bank
I want to know what bank is doing that. My bank does not do that to me. I have like a no overdraft on my bank, and it isn't supposed to, but sometimes I'll go under like $5, but it won't really let me go past that. So I want to know what banks are just racking up people's bills like that and just throwing them back into the negative the second they put more money in there.
is willing to extend you credit at all, the terms will be much less favorable than for someone with a rosier financial history. You'll pay more money in interest every month, and any late payments means more penalties and fees.
Even cash can be more expensive if you don't have much of it.
Okay, well, if you have bad credit, that's probably because you lack the competency to pay your credit card off. Like, let's be real now. If you're paying off your credit cards, your credit score is going to go up. It's really simple.
If you withdraw $100 from an out-of-network ATM, that $3 fee equates to a 3% service charge. But if you can only afford to take out $20 at a time, you're essentially paying a 15% charge to access your own money.
Taken together, this means that a poor person might end
Wait, so if you're taking out separate 20s, it's gonna charge you $3 for every 20 you take out? That don't sound right.
up paying hundreds or thousands of dollars a year for services that wealthier people virtually enjoy for free. It's no wonder then that a lot of low-income people avoid banks altogether. But even that comes at a steep price. Cashing in
Oh yeah, we're avoiding the banks, the IRS, our bills, everything. You know, just squatters' rights type shit. Stay wherever we want for like 6 months till they can get us out.
paycheck without a bank account costs money. Buying a money order to pay your electric bill costs money. And if that bill is due in just a couple days, well, you can either get hit with a late fee or FedEx it, an extra expense that someone with a debit card and an internet connection never has to worry about.
If you think that dealing
A debit card and an internet connection. You can get an internet connection at a Walmart and you can easily go to a bank and open up a line of debit. It's not hard. This is not hard. Like you could get a debit card. Get a debit card from Cash App.
with credit card debt is bad, thank your lucky stars you've never dealt with a payday or car title lender. These businesses are often the only recourse for people without credit cards, and their interest rates reach upwards of 800% annually.
Wow. 800% annual interest on car loans? That's crazy. These dealerships are making bank off these people. Wow.
Not only does it cost more to borrow and spend money, but what you spend it on is often more expensive. If you have to feed a family on a tight budget, buying in bulk at a supermarket is usually the best option, but not one available to many poor people. Even if they had the cash on hand to buy weeks worth of food in one trip, how is someone who depends on public transportation supposed to get it home? On their lap?
One person getting their food home is not going to be that hard. Let's just keep it real. They're not going to be holding that many groceries. That many groceries is for like a family of 4. They do not. You're going to come on the bus with like a couple bags. You're not going to be carrying that much. And if you have more, bring a backpack. If you don't have a car, bring a backpack. Ride your skateboard. There's ways around it. This is just an empty point.
Big food retailers, ones with enough purchasing power to offer low prices, are notorious for avoiding poor neighborhoods, and people who live in these so-called food deserts often lack the mobility to cruise around town bargain hunting.
Yo, wait, that's fucked up. So they're positioning themselves outside of the boundaries of where the quote-unquote poor are, so that they're not gonna get as many customers that are broke coming into their store. And that's disgusting. If their prices are low anyway, they should be in the more less fortunate area. Like why have good prices and only provide to the rich? It's some Jew shit.
Instead, they're stuck with local convenience and corner stores whose prices are much higher. Or they rely on fast food, which can...
See, this is the worst. Fast food is the worst. This is what kills my bank account every month. Like, I go and get maybe a meal, like, 3 times a week, probably. I probably go out to eat, like, 3 times a week, being realistic. And each time, it's at least $20. So that's $60 a week, $240 a month on fast food.
Seem cheap in comparison, but is actually more expensive than cooking at home, to say nothing of the long...
No, 100%. It's way cheaper to cook at home. A lot of people just lack the competency to actually cook for themselves. I'm one of those people. I literally just go out to eat, or I just wait for something to be cooked. Wait for a friend to hit me up like, yo, come over for dinner. I'm like, yes. I'm not eating cereal tonight for dinner. Hell yeah.
Long-term health risks.
Rent can also be more expensive. Most landlords require a security deposit.
Rent is a scam. Rent is 100% interest. You're you're losing all of the money. If you don't own the building you're staying in, you're essentially just forking out that money and you're getting nothing back at all.
Deposit between $500 and $1,000 to move in.
That's got to be like what's holding most Americans down, and I mean most people down, is apartment housing and renting spaces, because they're taking over so much of every area that people cannot find houses. Like if there's like a apartment complex that's charging $750 a month, and there's like a house you could put like tens of thousands of dollars on and maybe get like a house loan. And yeah, I mean, most people are going to look at the two and be like, oh, well, I'm just going to pay the $750 a month because it's just less. It's visibly less. And then they get stuck in a little apartment paying paying full interest on it. They're getting nothing back. Unless they're like renting with a home, which even if they're like renting with a friend, it's all 100% interest. They're never getting that back.
An impossible sum for people barely scraping by. And in that case, your only option other than homelessness might be a low-end extended stay motel, which...
An extended stay motel. $269 a week for 4 weeks. If you get to that point, that's rough. That's rough. That's like time to make TikToks on the street dressed as Spider-Man and just hope for the best.
typically don't require deposits, but cost way more than an apartment in the
Oh, they do cost more.
long run. And they often lack amenities like kitchen appliances and laundry that save apartment dwellers time and money.
They say time.
Yeah, see, like, I live in an apartment, and paying for the amenities, that's what we're really paying for. Like, I'm getting good amenities. My washer and dryer broke, and we called maintenance to come and fix it, and they were here within a day with a brand new set washer and dryer, and they work amazing. Like, anytime we've had any problem, we don't need to touch anything. The maintenance will come, they'll do all of it for us. It's great. So that's like the upside of being in an apartment, but you're paying all interest.
Time is money, and the less money you have, the more time you have to spend on everyday tasks. Waiting at the bus stop, waiting at the laundromat, waiting at overcrowded clinics and public offices. This leaves much less free time to...
Think about how much time you spend waiting on things, especially if you're no mobility, no car. You're like waiting for a train, waiting for another train to go a different direction. Then you're like waiting maybe for a UTA or like an Uber or something. They probably waste so much time just waiting on things, mainly transportation. Think about how long it takes to like get all the way from one side of a valley to another, and you don't have a car. It takes a minute. It takes an hour or two.
Take care of one's family, pick up extra work, or strategize a way out of poverty.
It gets worse. Inflation, the general increase in prices, tends to hit things like food, gas, and rent the hardest. The lower your income, the greater percentage of it goes to these costs. So,
yeah, pretty much. If you don't make that much, you're not gonna be able to have that many things, and most of your income's going to the necessities, and that's if you have a car. I mean, car is a big portion, house is a big portion, but I mean, it's the pay system right now. The economy in the U.S. is broken. It's broken. You can't survive off a normal base wage job. Like, you cannot live off base salary.
a poor person will see their year-over-year expenses go up at a higher rate than a wealthy person.
All these pressures take a toll on one's psyche that only makes things worse. Imagine having to constantly make tough decisions about where to spend your last few dollars.
I've been there many times where it's like late 3 months behind on rent, and I got like no money, but I got like a little bit, and I'm just like thinking, where am I even gonna, what do I do with this? I don't know what to do with it. All I can do is like give my landlord $50 and hope that he gives me a little more time.
Pay the water bill or buy food for dinner. Put gas in the car or see the doctor. This relentless burning of
Hey, if you're poor, you have access to this great thing called Medicaid, and it'll take care of all of your medical needs, pay for like everything. Anybody that's really struggling should check that out because it works great.
mental energy leads to a deterioration in the quality of one's judgment, a phenomenon psychologists call decision fatigue. It's why someone might visit a
Damn. So, pretty much the people that are already homeless and they're really rock bottom, they're having decision fatigue and they're not able to make decisions correctly or like as efficiently as they normally could. Like, that's just sad. It's I'm sure being homeless or in severe poverty has to be one of the most hardest things that a human can endure.
payday lender when they know it's a bad idea. They're so exhausted that they'll settle for a quick fix, even if it will lead to more problems down the road.
I see people doing this, like people that maybe own businesses and stuff. They're going like bankrupt and they just pull out like 2 or 3 credit cards that are they have like a $50,000 limit or $100,000 limit, and they just blow all of it and they don't pay it back. They just go bankrupt, so it just wipes. Like it's not very uncommon.
Closely related to decision fatigue is the scarcity trap, which is our tendency to fixate on the resources that we have the least of, to the point that we lose sight of the big picture. Running low on diapers, for instance, can create a feeling of panic that compels a poor mother to buy 6 months worth of Huggies, only to realize afterwards that she didn't set aside enough money for rent.
Okay, if you're living in a place like you're renting, you should be able to know that you should be able to know how to do the simple math to check if you have enough money to buy excessive packs of diapers and you're able to still pay rent. It's not that difficult. It's simple second grade math. That's decision fatigue or not. That one should just be wired in the noggin, just hardwired in all of ours.
Some might think that poor people just need to work harder and spend smarter. While it's true that improving your financial situation requires these things, it also requires having at least a little bit of extra cash to move around and access to decent.
That's true. Literally everything has a cost. Whether it's like money, time, hunger, mental bandwidth, everything that you do has a price. And it's so hard on people that are going through poverty because they don't have much to give out as far as currency goes. So they're stuck with living like very, very slim. And it's sad.
Spending options.
If you can't choose where you shop, where you live, or where you bank, you become a captive customer to predatory businesses. If you don't have any...
It's crazy. McDonald's is the most predatory business out there, in my opinion. I think that their food is godly unhealthy, and they target low-income Americans and the obese to come and feast off them at almost every given moment. I mean, people will go to McDonald's every single day. Like, could you imagine that? Could you imagine eating a Big Mac every single day? That would hurt my brain. Like, I feel like I'd be able to feel it developing like a chronic headache over eating it for like a week.
Extra money to save or invest or budget, you can't make a financial plan. And when are you supposed to think about tomorrow when you're constantly putting out today's fires?
Next time you describe yourself as broke.
Okay, I think that we live most of our lives thinking about like the future or the past. We're like half the time we might be living in the moment. So for most people, that's right too. Like I don't think that these people are not thinking about tomorrow. I think that they're thinking about the next week. They're thinking about the next month. They're thinking about it, but the execution of making the right decisions is just not, it's not coming together.
Remember that having just a little bit of wiggle room is infinitely better than having none at all. It can make all the difference if you're trying to improve your financial situation.
So, if you do have that wiggle room, be thankful and don't waste it.
I would have to say that, yeah, if you do have financial support in your life, you have someone that provides for you, you have a roof over your head, it is something to be very grateful for. Not everyone gets that opportunity, even down to like a ride to school. If you have a ride to school, be grateful for that. It is not just a given. I think that we're really privileged as Americans, and at the same time we're going through a really harsh period of time just because of inflation and predatory companies.
And that's our 2 cents.
That's
Missing
their 2
one
cents.
payment can.
All right. I think that this video was amazing. I love how they put everything together, and they really hit the plot line of that it's more expensive to be poor. And it truly is. If you think otherwise, watch this video again. But that'll be all. So on to the next, guys. See ya.